Calcio Chronicles. I'm Sheida Rad, your football-spirited language coach, and I'm here today with my amazing co-host, Italy's top football analyst and sports journalist, Massimo Caputi.
Hi, Sheida. Nice to meet you. We are ready for another episode of Calcio Chronicles. Welcome to everybody. We are ready.
Perfect. So we had our first round and we have lots of news, lots of goals to talk about. So before further ado, let's get into it. Massimo, we started the first round full of amazing matches and brilliant goals. So let's talk about these matches and let's first start with Napoli. What do you think about what's going on right now?
But Napoli started very well as the Italian winner of the title, demonstrated great personality, and especially Napoli has one of the best strikers in the world, Osimhen. When you have a striker as him, everything is possible because he can decide each match.
Oh, definitely. But we got to also mention Politano, don't we? He did the first goal for Napoli. And it was absolutely a great goal. What do you think about him?
But Napolitano has been one of the most important players last years. His game is important, and because he's an assist man, but at the same time, he can score. And so is very important for Garcia.
Okay, no, definitely. That was a brilliant win for Rudy Garcia, a winning start. Now, next, let's get to Inter, because we had Inter Monza 2-0 and with brilliant goals. Let's talk about Inter a little bit and, Lautaro. We cannot talk about him, can we?
And Inter is one of the favorites for the victory of the title this year, as 1 year before. But it's important for this club to start well. And the victory against Monza is important, especially because Lautaro scored, and also because Inter demonstrated to be a solid team with many options for the trainer, for the manager, Inzaghi. Lost important
many.
players.
Lost Lukaku, didn't they? Lukaku, Dzeko, Brozovic.
Exactly. And both a lot of players for changing, but we don't know if he's really stronger than 1 year before. But but Inter remain one of the best team for the option, for a lot of players that Inzaghi can choose.
Okay, no, definitely. And they have both Lautaro Martinez and Arnautovic that we got to say, that he did this amazing assist for Martinez to be able to score. And the duo of them, they really work well together. Now, let's go ahead and let's talk about Juventus. Juventus had this match with Udinese 3-0. My God, I mean,
Yes.
they really started strong. What do you think about Juventus?
But Juventus, for me, is one of the favorite for the victory of the title. We are only at the beginning of the Liga, della Serie A, but at the same time, my feeling for Juventus is strong, because Juventus can play only for Serie A, no matches in Europe, and Allegri has a very good team, and also than 1 year before. I believe Juventus is stronger, because two players as Cambiaso and Weah can give more equilibrium to the team. Yes, balance to the team, and Chiesa can do more activities in forward near Vlahovic and without defensive pressure. No, and so I believe Juventus demonstrated with a good start can be one of the favorite, one of the most team in Serie A this year.
No, definitely. They, as you said, they had the effect because, like, Chiesa, literally 2 minutes into the new season, and he had such an amazing goal. For not then talking about the other goals that they had with Vlahovic and Rabiot. Okay, next, let's get to Milan. You know, Milan had the match against Bologna, and they won 2-0. What can you tell me about Milan?
We were curious about Milan, no, because changed a lot of players, new, young, and interesting player. The beginning has been well, and the first impression is good because Milan immediately play a good football with equilibrium, with balance, and I think it's important to start well for Milan, but it's important to see the next exams, the next games for understanding the real strength of Milan. Milan is strong, is a good team and play well, but the continuity, I believe, will be the most important thing for Milan because when you have the double game, the double matches, Europe and Italian football in Serie A, you have to balance, to have continuity in each match, and it's not so easy.
Okay, but then they have Giroud and they have Pulisic, and as they did amazing goals in this match, they're probably going to win and score more goals for their team. Now,
and I want to say that I like Pulisic in the first game, and also Reinders. These are two important players. I think this year for Pioli.
okay, perfect. Now, let's talk about our biggest surprises because let's say the first round had had some big surprises for me personally, and I think also for you. I wasn't expecting Lazio's defeat, and definitely not Roma's draw. Let's start with Lazio. What do you think about the situation of Lazio and and their loss?
But at the beginning of the Serie A, always we have a surprise, no? Especially in the first match, and the surprise arrived from Roma, Lazio, and Roma, and especially Lazio because lost against Lecce, and probably the first feeling about Lazio is that the team of Sarri has the same strength and the same weaknesses of last year. When the intensity and the pressure drop, in this case, Lazio can lose because doesn't have the same balance and the same identity that Sarri wants, and so is an a bad start for Lazio, but the Serie A is long. We are only at the beginning. And in the case of Roma demonstrated the same weaknesses about his game, especially at home. when the difficulty is to score the opportunities of goal that Roma create. And so at the end, the important is the draw, because with an defeat, the things should be different. And so Mourinho is waiting on a new striker, and we will know what's happened in the next days.
Yeah, but further ahead, we're going to definitely talk about Belotti, because we can't talk about Roma's draw without talking about Belotti. It's like as if he is definitely back. And yeah, when we're going to talk about the strikers, we're definitely going to talk about him. But he's really proving that he can be a real asset for Roma this season. And that is very heartwarming for all the Roma fans out there. Okay, next, let's talk about Fiorentina. My God, like 4-1 against Genoa. They really smashed it.
Yes,
Tell me what you think about Fiorentina in this moment.
Fiorentina has been one of the best surprise for the first round, not for the strength in general, but has Fiorentina won against Genoa, demonstrated personality, an important quality of game. And I believe that in this year, Fiorentina has more convictions than before, and could be an surprise, an important surprise for the first position of the Serie A. And the good start is important, especially because it demonstrated more qualities than 1 year. Probably the job, the work of Italiano has been important in the last 2 years before, and now can do best things.
Okay, thank you so much. Now, let's get to the striker spotlight. Here we go. Okay, our bombers are absolutely unleashed this season, and our attackers showed that they are ready from the start. And they're, all these goals that we've seen in the first round show that all the strikers are like super ready. But we had also some surprises here. But let's talk about first the classics, and let's get to Osimhen. What do you think about him? Tell me. I know that you like him a lot.
Osimhen is amazing because each ball is important. No, each ball can Osimhen can realize each ball in a goal, and so demonstrated this in against Frosinone, and is very very important for Napoli. Kept this player in these years, no, and so the strikers are always important for a team, and Osimhen can do the difference in each game, but also the other, as Lautaro, for example, and Giroud, are important for Milan, for Inter. The lucky of each team is always near to the goal of the strikers, and so in this year is important the beginning as this, because demonstrated that we will have a lot of goals and a lot of emotions now with this goal.
Okay. Now, after Osimhen and Lautaro Martinez, let's get to Belotti, as I was saying before. Maybe it's because I have a particular interest myself in Roma, but definitely it's like as if he's back, and from not scoring, going without scoring a goal, and now coming back and score a goal on the opening, actually 2 goals in the opening day of the season this time around. Tell me what you think about Belotti and his return.
But Belotti has been a surprise, no? Because last year never scored, and in the first game scored 3 goals because yes, one
was cancelled.
Yes, for offside, but is important for him, is important for Roma. Probably the big difference is has been the physical preparation in this summer. He didn't this last year, and so the job in the summer, the physical preparation, the convictions of the player are important, and we hope that not only for Roma, maybe also for the national team, Belotti can return important for the teams.
No, definitely, I agree with you. Now, another player that was very interesting, and I know that you're kind of his fan, maybe, is De Ketelaere. What do you think about him? And what do you think?
But the impact with the Atalanta has been stronger than with Milan. Absolutely, no. I hope that for this player this year can be good, because I think that is a player with good technical skills, and need especially to play more. And so if with Atalanta we can play more with continuity, game after game, can do a great season. And Gasperini and Atalanta are the best for him, and so we have to wait and to see
yeah,
in
some
the
time.
next.
We just saw him like only 90 minutes have passed, but yeah, it's going to be definitely great to see how he's going to perform in his new team. Okay, next, let's talk about Immobile, because even though Lazio had a defeat, but of course, Immobile is like that force that always, that the fans of Lazio can rely on, So in fact, Lazio had only 1 goal, and it was Immobile that scored that goal. How did you see Immobile this year?
But Immobile is a guarantee, no? Because he is always present in every season, especially in each game, because he can score. Sometimes I say, when Immobile play, Lazio start 1-0, because Immobile.
That's exactly what happened.
The goal against Lecce is important for him, and also for Lazio, for the future, for the season. And when you have a player as him, you are sure that you have an important player and especially is an fear for the defense of the other team. I hope that you can play more games than last year's for injury, and I see a good season for Immobile and for Lazio.
Okay. Brilliant. Now, let's get to one of my favorite players, Giroud. He is nearly 37, and this guy goes ahead like, not feeling his age at all. And, like in a month or so, he's going to turn 37. But it literally took him 11 minutes, and he scored a goal in the match against Bologna. How do you
Giroud,
see Giroud?
Giroud is una garanzia as Immobile. Um, um, is a player that has a special feeling with the goal. Probably he cannot touch a lot of balls during the match, but you know that the first can be a goal, and so this is the big and the best quality of Giroud.
Okay, fantastic. Is there any other striker in particular that you would like to talk about? That I didn't.
No, a lot. It's important to wait and to see what can do two, in particular, two forwards. One is Retegui, the striker of the Atalanta, and the other is Kamaka, because are two young and important players, not only for Genoa and Atalanta, but also for the national team. And so I would like to wait and to see them in the next games.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for your insight. Now, let's get to talking about like the teams and some insight there. Let's get to it. Okay, we're back. Massimo, generally speaking, how can you see different teams and the landscape of teams this Serie A? Do you see like a balance between the top teams and the lower teams, or what can you tell me about the situation in Serie A after this first round?
But we were talking a lot around about the most important clubs, no? Napoli, Inter, Milan, Roma, Lazio, Juventus. We probably we know that the strength, not the strength, the fight for the title and for the European position will be for 7-8 teams. No, I saw that the difference between the first 8 and the other is large, and so probably my impression is that the other team, the second half of the team in Serie A, are thinking that is impossible, no, to compete against them, against
The top teams.
yes, with the top team, and so the difference for me between the 8 first and the other is larger than before, and every year is stronger.
Okay, so can we say that we have like a first tier teams and second tier teams, like kind of this division between the two?
Yes, it's true. I agree, and the the problem, the financial problems are probably the first reason about this, but is also because in this case the difference financial and technique are larger, are stronger than before, and as the best team at moment are incomplete, also the other are incomplete, and probably for this the difference is
You can see the
stronger,
difference.
no, is stronger than before. But we are only at the beginning, and we have to wait the end of the
See.
transfer market, and we will know better um, which and where will be the best difference.
Okay. Now it's not long left, only a week or so remaining till the end of the transfer market. So we're going to see how the teams will be. But in this first round, like one of the teams that gave me a very good impression was Lecce. And I wasn't expecting that, to be honest with you. I was pretty skeptical, but they started really well. What are your thoughts about Lecce?
But Lecce changed the manager, but the feeling, the the pressure, the energies are the same than 1 year before, and so important. And also, I believe that club has one of the best qualities to choose the young, interesting players in another country, and the has Lecce play and as Lecce choose the new players are two important bases for the future and for a good tournament for the Lecce.
Okay, thank you. Now, let's also talk about the newly promoted teams. Even though they face a lot of difficulty because obviously there is a huge gap between Serie B and Serie A. But even though they're struggling, but they are trying to go ahead. Like Cagliari, what do you think of Cagliari?
But allora, the first things that I want to say is the difference between Serie A and Serie B is very, very big, very, very big, and is not easy immediately to play in Serie A, no? And probably the best difference is on the bench, because when you have a manager as Ranieri, you you have experience and personality for a good start, and so we have to wait, the next games for understanding the real consistency and identity of Frosinone Genoa. But at the same time, Cagliari started better also for the experience of the manager. I believe this, and
only one that hasn't lost, isn't it? Like between the three newly promoted teams, Cagliari is the only one that didn't lose in the first
yes,
round.
exactly. And with a draw against Torino, and is always difficult now to play at home of Torino, and so is an important has been important for Cagliari to start with a draw, especially for the conviction, especially for and a good feeling for the next game, and we know as important to start with the right feet, con il piede giusto.
Definitely. That's going to be very important. Okay, thank you so much. Now, next thing, let's get to the next round preview. Okay, Massimo, welcome back. Now, let's get to the hot topic of next round previews, which so many of our listeners are interested in. First things first, let's start with Frosinone versus Atalanta. Both teams have faced so many challenges. What do you think they're going to do this time?
Atalanta is a dangerous opponent for Frosinone. Frosinone will play the second consecutive match at home at the beginning of the season, and is important for Di Francesco don't lose. And I hope for him, for Frosinone, about a draw. Will be difficult, but is probably a draw. Frosinone Atalanta.
Okay. Now, next thing, Monza versus Empoli. The same thing happened with them. What do you think about that?
Both teams lost the first match, and Monza play at home, and Monza for me is the favorite for the victory.
Okay, fantastic. Now, next is Verona versus Roma. Here, we know more or less, but I want to hear it from you.
For Roma is no easy match, but Mourinho will have two important players, Dybala and Pellegrini, and so I am convinced that Roma will win.
Yes, perfect. Now, next one, Milan versus Torino. Easy also.
It's a tough match for Milan, because Torino is always difficult to beat, and is important test for Pioli and for Milan. I will not be surprised if at the end the probably result will be a draw.
Oh, a draw. Okay. Now, next one, Juventus versus Bologna. What do you think?
For me, Juventus is a favorite, and I believe that we have only one result: the victory of Juventus.
Sorry for the fans of Bologna. Sorry.
No, but Bologna is improving, and and Motta is waiting new arrivals from the transfer market.
Okay. Now, next one. This is going to be very interesting to watch. Fiorentina versus Lecce. It's going to be a lot of surprises there.
Yes, because there are two teams that play very well, as we told before. After the first match, Fiorentina played the European match in this week, and so is important as Italiano can balance to organize the team after one match in Europe. Probably the Fiorentina is favorite, and for me, at the end, will win.
Okay. Now, next one is Lazio versus Genoa.
Lazio have to win, absolutely, but also Genoa
wants to win, of course.
Yes, no, especially because after the defeat at home, Genoa will be more we will have more attention, pay attention, for
more hunger to win.
Yes,
maybe that can help them, though.
Not for win, but for to have a result and a good result as a draw. And but at the end, Lazio is favorite, and I am convinced that Lazio will have the strength for arriving to the victory.
Okay. Very good. Now, next, another one that is obvious who's going to win: Napoli versus Sassuolo.
Also, in this case, as a Juventus, for me, we have only one result, and the victory of Napoli. And Napoli, obviously, we can have always a surprise. And in the football, everything is possible.
Possible,
But
yeah.
for me, Napoli will win.
Okay. Next is the Salernitana versus Udinese. Now,
It's an interesting match, because Salernitana is improving with some new arrivals from Transmarket, and Udinese is a physical team, especially when play not at home, no, and so. But at the end, if I have a favorite, I have as a favorite Salernitana for the victory.
okay, thank you. Now, next and last one is going to be Cagliari versus Inter. Now, Cagliari started with a decent draw, but obviously, poor things. They're going to go against Inter, which is one of the top teams. What do you think is going to happen here?
As for Inter, also as for Milan, also for Inter is an important text against Cagliari, because to play at Cagliari is no easy. In the atmosphere around the team of Ranieri is great, and so for Inter will not be easy. Absolutely. At the end, probably we will win, but also a draw is a possible result.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Massimo. Thank you for all the insight. And that's it for today. Thank you so much to all of you that are listening to us from near and far, Italy and beyond. We really hope that you actually enjoyed it. And for today, that's all from me. Ciao.
Ciao, ciao. At the next
Ciao,
episode.
ciao.